This is Detective Recapped. Today I'm going to explain a romance drama film called 365 Days. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. In Italy, a Sicilian mafia boss refuses another group's offer. He then lets one of his men, Mario, handle them so he can talk to his son, Massimo Torricelli. At the moment, Massimo's busy watching a woman on the beach, and his father tells him that he needs to take over their family business soon. However, everything goes into chaos when the Don suddenly gets shot, and the bullet goes through his body, hitting Massimo too. Both men hit the ground and bleed, and as everyone tends to them, Massimo can only watch his dying father. 5 years later, Massimo becomes the head of the Torricelli crime family and has become ruthless in running their business. He won't take no for an answer, and certainly won't let anyone play him for a fool. The brutal death of Massimo's father has definitely changed him for the worse. He's become dangerous and doesn't think twice about resorting to violence, especially when things don't go his way. Meanwhile, in Poland, Laura Biel successfully manages her career and has no problem being assertive, especially in a male-dominated field. As Laura goes home to her boring boyfriend, Martin, she realizes how unhappy she is. As Martin keeps ignoring her, Laura's patience for him grows thinner by the day. The next day, Laura and her boyfriend, together with their other friends, fly to Sicily to celebrate her 29th birthday. Martin and the others sing Laura the happy birthday song, and once they're done, Laura excuses herself to go to the bathroom. On her way there, she bumps into the handsome and mysterious Massimo, who asks her if she's lost. Ignoring the man, Laura walks past him, and when she turns around, the stranger is already gone. She and Olga then spend the following day relaxing by the pool, with Laura telling her best friend how much Martin takes her for granted. Upset, Laura goes for a walk alone and runs into an Italian man. The next thing she knows, Laura wakes up in an unfamiliar mansion, locked inside one of the rooms. When someone finally unlocks her door, Laura immediately looks for a way out but finds a huge portrait of herself in the living room instead. Massimo then shows up, and as soon as Laura recognizes him, he asks her again if she's lost. Massimo gives her some ice rocks to make her feel better, apologizing for giving her a sedative since he didn't know about her heart problem. But Laura only spits the ice at him. She demands to know who Massimo is and why she's taken her, and as she hits the man in frustration, Massimo forces her to sit down. He then confesses to seeing her 5 years ago on the beach, the day his father was killed. While he was bleeding, Laura was all he could think about, and he started looking for her all around the world as soon as he got better. Massimo was certain that he'd one day see Laura again, and that she'd be his, so he couldn't believe his eyes when he saw her at the airport a few days ago. However, Laura tells him that she's no one's property, and Massimo acknowledges that. Massimo wants Laura to fall in love with him without forcing her to, but Laura informs Massimo that she has a boyfriend and family who will look for her. Expecting Laura to say that, Massimo shows Martin's pictures with another girl in bed. He says his men have already left a note for Martin in their room, telling him that Laura has gone back to Poland to disappear from his life. Angry, Laura tries walking away, but Massimo grabs her and forces her on the chair once more. Massimo says he'll never do anything to her without her permission, and that he'll wait for her to come to him herself. Still, he reminds her that she shouldn't provoke him. To clarify things, Massimo informs her that she has 365 days to fall in love with him, and if nothing changes by her birthday the following year, then he'll set her free. Laura tries to flee again, and this time, she manages to grab Massimo's gun. When he tries to stop her, she points it at him. Unfortunately, Massimo easily subdues her, and they soon get interrupted by Mario and Domenico. Mario informs Massimo that they've had some delivery, so he orders Domenico to take Laura to her room. Here, Massimo tries to make himself look decent by telling Laura he won't force her to do anything she doesn't like, but the fact remains that he's keeping her by his side against her will. After being lonely for so long, Massimo has developed this sick fantasy about Laura, eventually falling in love with him, when the woman doesn't even know him and has only existed in his memory up until recently. Outside, Mario warns Massimo about an arising problem concerning their business and the Gattuso family, but Massimo curtly says he'll take care of it. He then orders Mario to gather everyone before leaving, then goes to a cellar. There, he holds Alfredo captive after learning that he's sold some children to a brothel, For smearing their family name, Massimo tells Alfredo that he will be erased as if he never existed. Back at the mansion, Laura decides to escape, but gets caught after witnessing Massimo execute Alfredo. Laura wakes up the next day with Massimo sitting next to her bed, and he explains why he killed Alfredo. Laura then demands to have her phone and laptop back, but Massimo says she'll have them at the right time. After that, Massimo orders Laura to get dressed as they're flying somewhere, causing Laura to throw a fit since she doesn't want to go anywhere. The two get physical with each other, and Massimo warns Laura never to hit him again. After having breakfast, Massimo takes Laura to Etna for shopping. Laura desperately looks for help, but Massimo easily catches up to her and tells her just to accept her situation. During dinner, Massimo keeps getting messages from a woman named Anna while talking to Laura. Massimo ignores her and pays attention to Laura, who wants to know what he does for a living. Massimo talks about his business but keeps its illegalities a secret, saying he was chosen to be the family head after his father died. He then asks Laura to teach him how to be gentle, and Laura can't help but smile. After eating, Laura finds her laptop and cell phone on her bed, and the first person she calls is her mother, to inform her that she's been offered a job in Sicily. Shortly after arriving at their destination, Laura teases Massimo and his cousin by eating her ice cream messily. When she leaves them, Laura makes a scene by bathing in the fountain, and Massimo rushes to stop her. Back at the hotel, Laura goes to Massimo's room and implies she wants to sleep with him, only to take back her words later. However, Laura learns that they're locked in the room, so she won't be able to leave. Massimo then cuffs Laura to the bed, only to uncuff her and order her to dress up. To get back to Massimo, Laura wears an overly seductive dress and goes with Domenico to Massimo's bar. There, Domenico reminds her to behave while they meet with some important people. Massimo then scolds Laura for wearing something skimpy, but she ignores him. Later on, Massimo witnesses Laura flirting with a man. When another man touches Laura inappropriately, a fight ensues. Laura wakes up in Massimo's yacht, where she hears him arguing with Mario about shooting the hands of the man who assaulted her. Mario is worried that Massimo has started a war, so he advises him just to get rid of Laura and beg for Anna's forgiveness. This sets Massimo off, and as the two men argue, Laura steps in and apologizes for the mess she's caused. Frustrated, Massimo tells her it wouldn't have come to that if she'd dressed appropriately, but Laura argues it's not her fault that the man tried taking advantage of her. Massimo quickly follows Laura when she walks away, and while trying to hit Massimo in anger, she falls off the boat. Massimo jumps in the water to save her, but when she regains consciousness, Massimo confesses to being afraid of losing her. Laura's heart suddenly softens for him, and the two repeatedly make love to each other. That night, Massimo and Laura attend to a masquerade ball, where they momentarily forget their problems and dance with the other guests. Suddenly, Anna shows up and introduces herself to Laura as the first and true love of Massimo. Before she leaves, Anna threatens Massimo that she'll take away the most precious thing he has and kill Laura. With Laura waiting for an explanation, Massimo tells her that Anna has always known that he's looking for her and is confident that he won't find her. He even admits that Anna wants to kill her, but he assures her that he won't let Anna hurt her. However, Laura is already upset and demands they leave. He informs her that Domenico will take her to the airport the next day for her flight to Poland. He's letting Laura visit her family, and he mentions that he'll join her later on in the apartment he's prepared for her in Warsaw. Laura isn't sure what to say, and before Massimo leaves, he tells Laura that he loves her. On their way to the airport, Domenico urges Laura to forget about Anna. He then receives an alarming call from someone, but he won't tell Laura what happened and suggests she wait in Warsaw. Domenico gets out of the car and returns home, while Laura eventually reaches Poland. There, Laura visits Olga and tells her friend about what happened in Sicily, saying she's in love with Massimo. She also expresses how worried she is because Massimo is keeping her in the dark, so Olga suggests they go out to cheer her up. The two women go to the salon and spa, and after a makeover, they head to a bar and have a good time. When Olga leaves Laura for a short while, Martin suddenly shows up and begs Laura to talk to him. He then tells Laura that he went after her in Sicily, and even defends himself by saying he got drunk after she left and woke up the next day with a woman in his bed. Unfortunately, Laura doesn't care about him anymore, and ignores whatever explanation he gives to her. Though it appears that Massimo has set Martin up, that doesn't change the fact that he slept with another woman. Martin follows Laura to her apartment, where they find Massimo waiting in the dark. When Martin leaves, Laura slaps Massimo out of frustration after not keeping in touch with her for so long. Laura repeatedly hits him, but their fight quickly escalates into passionate lovemaking. In the middle of it, Laura sees the bruises on Massimo's body, but he assures her that he's already resolved his problems. Laura then cries, saying she doesn't need 365 days, and finally admits she's in love with him. Is it love or is it Stockholm Syndrome? Who's to say, really? It's hard to understand how they could genuinely love each other, especially when Laura is always hitting Massimo, even when it's completely unwarranted. And Massimo's always been threatening Laura and holding her captive. The next day, Massimo asks Laura to marry him, and Laura gets surprised to see that she's already wearing a ring. Laura happily accepts Massimo's proposal, and the two of them spend the rest of the day shopping. Later on, Laura asks Massimo not to tell her parents about his business before introducing them to each other. Laura's parents, Clara and Thomas Biel, are delighted to meet Massimo, and when they ask him what he does for a living, Massimo casually replies that he's a gangster. However, Laura's parents find that hard to believe and only laugh at him. One day, Massimo notices that Laura isn't feeling well, but she dismisses the idea of going to the doctor. They then discuss their wedding, which Laura's parents aren't allowed to attend since she doesn't want them to realize the truth about Massimo. Laura tells Massimo that she wants Olga to be there for her, since she already knows everything about him. So Massimo agrees before leaving for Palermo. Once Massimo is gone, Laura asks Mario why he doesn't like her, but Mario explains that it's their situation that he doesn't like. He says Laura has caused some commotion in their family, but all he can do is just accept her. With Olga's arrival, she discovers that Laura is pregnant, so she gets mad at her. Laura has only been with Massimo for 2 months, and Olga believes that she's trapping herself in a cage. However, Laura insists she knows what she's doing, and Olga has no other choice but to support her. Olga and Domenico then help Laura shop for a wedding gown, and the two girls can't help but get emotional. On their way home, Olga persuades Laura to call and finally tell Massimo about her pregnancy, but she hesitates and chooses to tell him about it in person instead. Meanwhile, somewhere across Sicily, Mario receives a call, informing him that their rival Mafia family has ordered a hit on Laura. Mario fails to contact Massimo, so he tries to race to him as quickly as possible. On the car ride home, Laura shares a call with Massimo, asking him if they can talk later. In the middle of their call, Laura's car enters a tunnel. Their call seems to drop, with Laura being irresponsive to Massimo's questions. Just then, Mario finally arrives, and bit by bit, Massimo's world seems to stop. Laura's car doesn't leave the tunnel, and the police are shown at the tunnel's entrance. Massimo can only fall to the ground as the reality sinks in that he may have just lost the woman he loves. In the dangerous world that Massimo lives in, peace is scarce. Maybe marrying Laura is his way of trying to have some normality in his life, but that too is quickly taken away from him. He may have all the power and riches in the world, but Massimo will remain in the dark hole he's always been in, since he made his peace and contentment depend on how close Laura is to him.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.